We return to Ladies Can We Talk with host Debbie Georgatos on 660 AM The Answer.
Hi, I'm speaking with Judge Jeanine Pirro. Hello.
Hi.
You know, the main things I want to ask you about, first of all, I love your energy and your passion. You get people so stirred up. And I watched your interview with the GOP presidential candidate, Donald Trump, recently. And I was curious, first of all, you've known him for 25 years. How'd you even get to know him?
My ex-husband represented him for many years. He was a real estate attorney, and Donald was doing a lot of real estate development, obviously. And we would end up going to Palm Beach with him and his kids almost every weekend. And my kids were little at the time, and they'd have a little table in the back of the Trump jet that he would put a leather cover on so Kiki and Alex, my kids, could color on that. I found him to be a great father and just a terrific guy. And the public sees Donald Trump as this kind of, I know what I'm doing and I'm the greatest. But I've seen other sides of Donald that he doesn't let show very often. And I think that if the American public knew what a great guy he was and is as a father, they would be stunned. I mean, he would say to his kids, on the one hand, don't talk to her like that, or you're not getting an allowance, or we're going to buy our school supplies at Kmart. I mean, people would be stunned. He was a great, great dad.
That is fascinating, and you're right, that side of him does not come out all that well on the campaign trail. I've been surprised, and I'm curious what you think. He made comments relating to the border and immigration that many in the GOP establishment class they shuddered at. They were fearful and upset, thinking that he was turning off many of the Hispanic voters that the GOP hopes to win. As it turns out, he is actually doing well with Hispanic voters. Why do you think that is?
I think that he's doing well because people respect the truth. We have gotten to the point where political correctness is so out of bounds that sometimes people are afraid to talk. They filter everything that they say. And I have to tell you that when I was a judge and the DA, I would several times a month swear in newly naturalized citizens from all over the world. And I must tell you that the people who've gone that extra step, I don't care if they're Mexican, if they're Portuguese, or if they're from China, are so respectful of this country. They swear allegiance to this country. They want to learn our history. They have to learn our history in order to become citizens. And they're the ones who are outraged at the illegals that are crossing the border and just expect to get food, education, and medication automatically because they had the audacity to cross the border. And so I'm not surprised that he's doing well. I mean, there are people who believe in the law, who believe in family, who believe that, America has a lot to offer, but they believe in the rules. And so not everybody is, a person who's out there with his hand out and expects to be received with a welcoming mat when, in fact, they're spitting on the flag.
I had that same thought. It's interesting when he first made comments about people crossing the border. I really thought it was just almost a litmus test how people reacted to what Donald Trump said. Did they just withdraw in fear, or did they say, wow, someone's kind of saying things, maybe it isn't how I would have said it, but saying things that a lot of people have been thinking. And I think it accounts for his popularity in large part because people are they're tired of the filter, they're tired of the consultant class, shaping messages of the GOP. They like someone who's just speaking from the heart. Did you see that's part of his popularity?
Speaking from the hardest part of his popularity, but also the man is a success. He is not part of the Beltway. He's not part of that, let me spend the next 2 years raising money so that I can stay in office for another 2 years or 4 years or 6 years. Here's a guy who's put his reputation and his money where his mouth was and is a success. And so people say, wait a minute, there is some truth to his saying, I'm a success and my corporations are great and my companies are great. And so people respect that. I think that the ruling class, the class that's coming out of Washington, has lost its moral core. And the American people recognize it. And I have to tell you, I ran for office 5 times in New York, and I have the scars to prove it. Okay? It is a blood sport. And at the end of the day, you realize that it is all about hanging on to what politicians have. And here we have a guy who is kind of at the end of his economic career, who wants to give his all to the American people. And he's got nothing to gain. He's got nothing to gain from this. Whereas the politicians just do it because they want to hang on to whatever they have in terms of money and contributions and pensions and all that other stuff. And although I'm not being terribly clear, what I mean is that the American people respect honesty, even if it isn't politically correct. And hopefully Donald Trump will be the person who will cause us to turn the corner and say, you know what, enough of this hogwash. I want to work, I want to take care of my family, and I want national security to be a priority. And Donald Trump brings that to us, and I believe in him. And I don't believe in him because, of what he's done. I believe in him because of who he is. And hopefully the American people will start to realize who the man Donald Trump really is.
Who can you see in the GOP class, or anyone actually potentially serving as his vice president if he were to win the nomination? Who can you see as a fit?
I don't know, and Donald hasn't answered this question, but I got to tell you, presidential elections are about the 7 states, the swing states. And what Donald needs to do, with all due respect to him, is if he is looking to choose from the political class, he's got to do it from a swing state, whether it's Kasich in Ohio, or some of the other people. I can't think of them now.
Gilmore in Virginia, or Pataki in New York.
But New York is not a swing state.
That's true.
That's true. New York's about as blue as they come, and you're not going to change it. I like Ted Cruz. I like the way he thinks. I mean, he's a great guy. But Donald, I think, has to pick someone from the political class because he doesn't have that. And, I'm not so sure that the public would be comfortable in the voting booth when they close that curtain or whatever, or wherever they do it, that they don't want someone from the political class. And so maybe someone from the political class in a swing state will cinch it for the public. Who knows?
Wow. It's interesting. I have seen videos online. You've probably seen them also. There are 2 women, African-American women, who are making videos, and they're just jumping up and down cheering about Donald Trump. And they're fun to watch, and they're fun. Their energy's fun. But on a more serious note, I wonder the GOP is always trying to work to bring more voters in who are African-American. And I have the same, Judge Jeanine, same thought you have had, which is I think people, they want to hear strength, honesty, passion. They want to hear character, and I don't like us tailoring messages to any particular class of people based on their wrapping paper or the color they came in. But I do wonder how well you think he might do in getting votes in the African American community.
I can tell you, having spent many, many years with Donald, socializing with him as well, African Americans love him. Hard hats love him. We could be at a very high-end event and come out and walk down the sidewalks, and people flip out. This was years ago for Donald. I don't think he's going to have any problem. And by the way, the Stump for Trump gals are going to be on my show this weekend.
Oh, really?
I love them. And I said to them, you did this Stump for Trump thing right after the debate. How is it that you even got it together? I mean, do you read the newspapers? How do you know what to say? And they said, you know what? We do it from the heart. And just like they are determined to stay with Trump, I think that the public will be, will feel the same way. I don't think it's picking, a color or an ethnicity or a sex. I think it's about reality, and reality in this world that we live in. And if we don't have someone who's fighting for us and who wants to protect us and who speaks the way we do, we don't have a shot.
My last thought is I just love his slogan, Make America Great Again. Isn't that what it is?
Yep.
And, I have that thought. It's a little bit similar to the end of the Jimmy Carter era, where so many people felt like they felt like the government didn't respect America. They felt like America was in the dumps. There was an expression for it, but in the doldrums, I can't remember the exact expression was, but the idea was just America wasn't being spoken of, even by our own government, as a good and proud people. And I think people hear Donald Trump and they think, this guy loves America. He knows what America is. He loves it. And they want to hear that instead of what we hear, in my view, from the current administration, which is negativity and down on Americans. I just think the America's good and Americans are good is such a profound message that Donald Trump sends every day.
Well, it's interesting that you make the comparison between Jimmy Carter and what came next. The person who came next was Ronald Reagan. And we've got Barack Obama, who is as bad, if not worse, than Jimmy Carter. I think he's worse, and I've said it on my show. And hopefully he'll be followed by a Reagan-type person like Donald Trump. And make no mistake, Donald Trump knows how to message. You know, he's new at the political game, but right from the get-go, when he had that hat, Make America Great Again, you know that he believes in it, and he believes in his message, and he will push that message right to the end. You know, I think it'll be good for all of us. I am so excited about the possibility of Donald actually getting the nomination, and I'm so excited about Americans getting to know him, and I think that he can make America great again.
We're just speaking this evening with Judge Jeanine Pirro. Thank you so very much for coming on the show.
My pleasure.